You're sitting on the couch, winding down after a long day, and somewhere in the background you hear it. That wet, repetitive sound. Lick. 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 You glance over and there's your dog, completely zoned in on their own paw like it owes them money. You tell them to stop, they look up at you for about 3 seconds, and then the moment you look away, they go right back to it. Most dog owners hear that sound and think nothing of it. Maybe they're just cleaning themselves, right? Dogs do that. But here's what I want you to really sit with today. Obsessive paw licking is almost never about hygiene. It is almost always a red flag. Your dog is not grooming. Your dog is telling you something is wrong, and because they cannot use words, this is the only language they have. So today we are going to decode exactly what that message means, because the cause matters enormously, and getting it wrong can mean months of unnecessary suffering for an animal who trusts you completely. Let's start with the single most common culprit, and it's one that most people never even consider. Environmental allergies. Now when we say allergies, most people picture a sneezing dog or watery eyes, but dogs experience allergies almost entirely through their skin. And here's the part that surprises people every single time: your dog's paw pads essentially function like sponges. Every time your dog walks across the lawn, across the park, across that neighbor's perfectly manicured yard that you just know is treated with fertilizer, those soft, porous pads are absorbing everything. Pollen, grass seeds, mold spores, chemical treatments, all of it gets drawn in with every single step. Once those allergens make contact, the immune system fires up. It recognizes something foreign, it triggers an inflammatory response, and suddenly those paws are intensely, unbearably itchy. And here's the thing, a dog cannot reach down and scratch their own paw with their fingers the way you might scratch an itch on your hand. Licking is the only mechanism they have. So they lick. And they lick. And they lick, because the itch keeps coming back the moment the saliva dries. If you notice the licking is worse in spring and fall, or after time spent outdoors, or in specific locations, environmental allergies are extremely high on the list of suspects. But here is where it gets more complicated, and honestly a little bit heartbreaking. Because the licking itself creates a second problem entirely. When a dog licks their paws obsessively, that constant moisture trapped between the toes creates a warm, humid environment. And in that environment, yeast absolutely thrives. A secondary yeast infection, which is a fungal overgrowth, can develop and layer on top of the original allergy, turning a manageable itch into a full-blown cycle of misery. You can actually detect this yourself at home. If you lean in close and notice that your dog's paws have a distinct smell, something that people often describe as corn chips or popcorn, that is a classic sign of a yeast infection. And if the fur between the toes or around the paw has turned a rusty reddish-brown color, that staining is caused by a compound in dog saliva called porphyrin, and it tells you that the licking has been happening consistently for a while. What started as an environmental reaction has now snowballed into something that needs direct treatment, because simply removing the allergen at this point is not enough. The yeast infection has to be addressed on its own terms. Now let's talk about something that lives even deeper inside your dog's body, because not all paw licking starts from the outside. Sometimes it starts from the bowl. Dietary sensitivities and food allergies are a massively underestimated driver of chronic paw licking, and the reason they're so often missed is that the connection between what a dog eats and what their skin does is not immediately obvious. Here's what the research consistently shows. Highly processed proteins, the kind found in the vast majority of commercial dry kibble, things like rendered chicken meal or beef byproducts, are among the leading triggers of dietary allergies in dogs. When a dog's immune system decides it doesn't like a particular protein, it mounts a systemic response. That inflammation doesn't just stay in the gut. It travels. And one of the most common places it shows up? The paws. Bright red, raw, chewed-looking skin around the feet and between the toes, often paired with chronically red or inflamed ears. If your dog has both of those things happening at the same time, itchy paws and recurring ear problems, food is absolutely worth investigating with your vet. But we need to go somewhere less physical now, because paw licking isn't always about the body at all. Sometimes it is entirely about the mind. This is the one that tends to catch people off guard, because we don't always think of our dogs as having the kind of inner emotional life that generates compulsive behaviors. But they absolutely do. When a dog licks, their brain releases endorphins. Those are the same feel-good neurochemicals that make humans feel calmer after a long run or a warm bath. Licking is genuinely soothing at a neurological level. So when a dog is experiencing separation anxiety, when they are bored, understimulated, or living with chronic low-level stress, they reach for the one tool that makes them feel better. Their own paws become what you might call a biological pacifier. The challenge with psychological licking is that over time it can become deeply habitual. The behavior gets reinforced every single time it produces relief, and eventually a dog may lick even when the original emotional trigger is gone, simply because the behavior itself has been grooved into their routine. This is why mental enrichment, puzzle feeders, training sessions, meaningful outdoor time, genuine social interaction, is not just a nice bonus for your dog. It is genuinely preventative medicine. And now for the last cause, and this one I need you to take the most seriously of everything we've covered today. Localized pain and physical trauma. There is one specific pattern you need to watch for, and it is this: if your dog is licking obsessively at only one paw, and the focus never shifts to the others, treat that as a medical emergency until proven otherwise. Here's why. A dog who is licking all four paws is almost certainly dealing with something systemic, an allergy, a sensitivity, a stress response. But a dog who is locked onto a single paw is almost certainly telling you that something specific is wrong in that exact location. And the possibilities range from the microscopic to the serious. A grass seed, which is far more dangerous than it sounds, can work its way through the skin and migrate into the tissue, causing an abscess that becomes infected and increasingly painful. A small fracture, invisible to the naked eye, can cause relentless throbbing that a dog tries desperately to soothe. And in older dogs especially, single paw licking can be one of the earliest behavioral signs of arthritis developing in a specific joint. A vet visit in these cases is not optional. It is urgent, so here is what I want you to walk away with today. The next time you hear that sound, that quiet, rhythmic licking, I want you to resist the urge to dismiss it. Instead, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Is it one paw or all four? Does it happen more after outdoor time? Have you noticed a smell, or a color change in the fur? Are their ears also bothering them? Is anything new happening in their environment or routine? Your dog cannot fill out a symptom form. They cannot point to where it hurts. All they can do is show you, over and over, in the only way they know how. And the most powerful thing you can do for them is choose to listen. If this helped you understand your dog a little bit better today, share it with another dog owner who might need it. And if your dog is currently dealing with paw licking, drop a comment below, tell me what it turned out to be. Those conversations help every single person in this community. I'll see you in the next one.